Sweet. Well, thanks, Joe, for taking the time to do this. First things first, man. How you doing? I don't know about you, but where I am in London, it is super, super warm.
Yeah, it's warm outside. Lucky enough, this has got some nice aircon in here, and I've got a massive fan because having pale skin and ginger hair, it's a killer. So I've got a nice like a desk fan as well as aircon blowing on me just to make sure I'm nice and cool. So yeah,
Good stuff.
I'm covered.
Good stuff. I mean, there's no interview we've done in the last 12 plus months, right, that we cannot begin without checking on your well-being throughout the COVID times. So I have to check on you as well, man. How you been holding up the last, say, 15, 16 months?
Yeah, all right. The first kind of, it's mad thing, like the first kind of 5-6 months, I was all right. Like I moved from London. I now live down the coast, and it was like it was like it was kind of like cracking on as normal.
Yeah.
And the weather was amazing, and I was like, oh, this is mad. And it was like it wasn't happening. And then October hit, and it just became as bad as anywhere else. And from October to March, I must admit, I just felt it was just sad, and I felt a little bit rough that kind of a period and of time. But yeah, things are on the up now. I'm kind of working. Some weeks I'm in London, some weeks I'm at home, and that's a good mix. But yeah, like I say, the first 5-6 months, I was like, okay, this is mad. It's kind of okay down here. So yeah, but no, it's I'm okay now. Cheers.
Did you get furloughed? Were you basically no?
I was working from home, so yeah, I was just kind of doing something else. But yeah, no, it was my work's been pretty good through this whole thing. To be fair, I'm very lucky. So yeah, it's been cracking on with stuff at home.
Okay, that's good. Working from home, that aspect of it, I often hear it from people who never really worked at home before and then were forced to during this period. It kind of felt like an invasion of their home life. Were you able to kind of balance things well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I kind of got into a nice routine. Like I would wake up, go for a run, come back, have breakfast, do some work and whatnot, and then spend a couple of hours doing that. Then I'd go for like a walk. Like I have a nice park like 20 yards from me, and I'm fortunate I live like 2 minutes from the beach, so I'd go down and have a walk. And I was just like, it was just nice. And I'd come back and do a few more like hours and a few other bits. And yeah, I kind of broke it up, and it was fine. You know, it didn't feel too bad. So yeah, I was all right.
During the period then as well, we kind of like, particularly when we're talking to bands and artists and people like yourself, what positives, if any, have you been able to kind of take out of this period?
The only, Christ, I'd say the one like positive was we were kind of like, we managed to finish writing our album, and we managed to go and record our album. And that was probably, I mean, we kind of got a lot of other details and a lot of other things done, and we had nothing else. We couldn't go and jam and whatnot, so we just focused on. We had to write some of the album like over like Skype and what have you, because we couldn't get in a practice room and whatnot. And it was like kind of like 10 minutes worth of music, and we've never really done that. We always jam and write music. So yeah, we kind of got together and we did, like I say, we did that last 10 minutes worth of music over Skype. But that was probably the only real positive for the band that's come from this. Kind of having to kind of realize you have to do a lot more phone calls, a lot more jumping on calls and that, and just trying to get through it. But you know, that was it. You know, us being able to finish the album, finish writing the album, finish recording it. And yeah, I think that was probably it. I can't find many more positives during this time.
Accomplishment regardless, because I mean, it's easy to forget you can be the smallest band in the entire world, or you can be the giants who fill in stadiums. Everybody was in the same boat.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm sure there's some bands who had it like really bad. Obviously, we're not the biggest touring band at the moment, and you know, we all have jobs that go beside this. But there's bands, obviously, and this is their life, you know. And so I you know, I feel for those guys, you know. That's a real killer. But yeah, I'd say, you know, we've you know, had it bad because it kind of stopped a little bit of the momentum that we were gaining. But I feel like we kind of just dropped straight back into that, to be fair. with everything that's kind of happened since. So yeah, I think we're lucky
You
compared to a
almost,
lot of other bands.
yeah, you almost feel guilty, right? Complaining about
Yeah,
any particular small issue.
major.
Mm.
Like, and I've seen how much it's affected a lot of friends who work within the industry as well. And I mean, it's gutting. It's totally gutting. And yeah, I feel really, really like lucky that I'm in the situation I'm in. And I just feel so gutted for so many good people and so many friends who've had it much worse than I will, like in this situation.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And I mean, we've got to bring this up as well, because as of the time of recording, we're less than 2 hours away from effectively having a 4-week delay to the lifting of the final restrictions, pretty much confirmed. Now, I have to ask, because this does affect you guys directly. Have you been able to come to terms with the news? Because obviously you have UK tour dates between the 7th of July and the 11th of July.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of got a plan in place, which we kind of already jumped ahead of. We're trying to get some things sorted. So yeah, we've kind of figured out what we need to do pushing forward from this moment. Sadly, I mean, it's the inevitable, you know, what's going to happen. But we've got something in mind. We're all kind of trying to figure a way to get around it. I'm guessing not everyone's going to be happy, but hopefully people can understand, because you get them people saying it. You get people who moaned about the Download pilot lineup. So you know what I mean? Like, we haven't had a festival for like 18 months. Oh, this is shit. And it's, so you get some mad people.
Of course.
But hopefully people can understand. But yeah, we're trying to figure out something. Well, we got a plan. We have a plan. So,
Okay, I mean, that's
and
good. A plan is good
we've
enough.
got some good stuff to announce as well. So
Okay, that's
I'm
exciting.
excited
Yeah, I
about
was
that.
because your show in London at the Black Heart would have been my first non-socially distant show since April 2020. So it's kind of like, damn it.
Yeah, like we did, I think it would have been nice to get in there first. I think we were going to be a lot of people's first first show back. But I prefer to do a show where people feel completely at ease, completely comfortable with the situation. So we know it's going to happen. I say 2 hours time, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But the show will be very soon. So certainly London will be very soon.
The show goes on exactly. Of course, the big news and the whole reason why we're sitting down to talk about this is June 25th. It's the release of Serpent and Spirit via Candlelight.
Yes,
now,
yes.
I feel like this has been a long time coming, obviously, for you, from the EP and so on. And you had to write part of the album and recorded it during the COVID era. Talk us through that kind of experience and the thought process, particularly when it came to the last steps of the album, because I believe that's where you were. That's the part you had to kind of do via Skype and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, everything was kind of going smooth, obviously, and we started writing kind of the moment. I think there was some stuff on the album that I've had for years, that Angus has had for years, and we've just been trying to find the right band and whatnot to put it in. And it was like every weekend we get together, or every other weekend, and we were just jamming through this stuff. And some stuff like took one practice. One song literally took 5 minutes, and it just was just a jam, and it came out, and it was all going great. And then of course this hit, but the 2 songs we had to finish, I think there's some long songs on this album. I think they're the 2 longest, the instrumental and a song called Desolate Heart. I'm trying to think. And we had about 5 minutes of each left to write. So I mean, I think we had a plan with Memorial. We had a plan with what was going to come next, so that helped. With Desolate Heart, it was a lot of we just couldn't get a transition, and it's been like that. We've had some of that music for years, me and Angus. But once I kind of come up with something, but it was a little bit later on in the song, but they kind of, right, there's the bridge. So I sent that to Angus. Angus cracked on. We kind of did it over a few Skype meetings. There was a lot of humming and a lot of beatboxing, and then we finally got it together, and we jumped on with a call with Rich. Then Angus used the old classic like Guitar Pro. You listen to it on Guitar Pro, you're like, yeah, this sounds heavy, and it's just computer shit. And So yeah, once we kind of got that in mind, we just kept practicing at home. Then we managed to get in the practice room for about 4 weeks before we went to record. So a lot of it was just thrashing that out and making it feel like it fits. So yeah. I mean, that was all fine. I will say, like, I don't know how bands just do that. I'm going to get one guy who's going to write it all over a computer and then send it off. I'd feel like I'd miss something.
Yeah.
So yeah, not ideal, but yeah, everything, it was going. The whole writing process was great. It was like we didn't really set ourselves a time because we weren't signed or anything. We had no one to sort of do this for, and so it was just really relaxed. And it's like sometimes if we've been trying to write this one song for 3 or 4 weeks and it's not working, you're forcing it, put it on the back burner, go and crack on with something else. So yeah, I must say the whole process of the actual writing was really, really easy, really relaxed, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. And we've already started writing for the next album, and yeah, it's the same vibe. It's just great. I love just practicing in the room and getting that buzz and seeing everyone else buzzed about, oh, that riff. And then you remember it's like, as a kid, you'd go home and you'd remember that bit and you just want to jam it the next week. And I think that's what one good thing, that we try and do is be a jam band. As much as the music's quite technical in areas and what have you, but we love writing it together because it's an exciting, it adds an energy to the whole vibe, like everything that's going on.
That does make sense. And when did you get the final product back, basically, after you'd sent it off for mastering and stuff? When did you get it back?
Well, we got a master back from Chris Fielding about the start of December.
Oh wow.
And yeah, like I was just like, okay, cool. And then I posted a picture. Oh, yeah, we're buzzing that we finished like the album and we can't wait for people to hear it. And then Darren from Spine Farm and Candlelight dropped me a message like, let me hear something. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna just go in with what I thought was the best song. And it's like 8.5 minutes. And I got a call like 5 minutes later. And he was like, I need this. I need to sign this. Right. And I was like, fuck. And then from there, we sort of, it needed a little bit, the mastering side just needed a bit more life to put into it, maybe a bit more volume and whatnot. And the label spoke to Jens Bogren, who's done some of the greatest albums in the last 20 years for metal. And he was just like, yeah, I'd love to do something with this. And we sorted something out and yeah, got the masters back, and it just adds to it. It's not one of them real polished albums like when you hear some bands and it's completely perfect, and there's an atmosphere, there's still a vibe there, and Jens's work as well as Chris's, I think really added a good vibe to it. So yeah, I'd say that we kind of got that back maybe like the final thing, maybe like early Jan, Jens took Christmas off and whatnot, and then there we go, and then it was off to the label to do all that stuff.
It's so nice to hear this because you wouldn't believe how many bands we've been speaking to during this lockdown period who have had work that basically they've either been sitting on since late 2019, early 2020. And so it's kind of nice to see that, like, all right, it was January and we're now in June, so it's not been a massive amount. So basically, you're not sick of it yet, I would hope.
No, I'm buzzed. I'm still excited about everything that's happening. Like, so yeah, I mean, that time might come, but I'm excited now to hear. We're hearing what people are saying. We're seeing some bits and bobs. From we had a really amazing article like from Dom Lawson, who growing up he's like one of my favorite. I think he's for me he's like just the man. And so when he wrote a piece in Prog magazine about us, and it's an amazing piece, and I'm like, yeah, fucking wicked. So yeah, I love all that stuff, so I'm not bored yet.
It's fascinating.
That time will probably come.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Like, because obviously the death of print magazine, so to speak, is on it. It's coming. It's slowly but surely, unfortunately, coming. But these that sort of air and importance of getting a feature, or an interview, or a review in that print is so important.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, once I realised we were in the magazine, where I worked, there's a W.H. Smith downstairs. I was straight down. I was down them escalators so quick, and I was just like, yes. flicking through, and it was one. It's not got like, sometimes they have like a bag around it, and I was like through, and I was like, yes, there we are. I was just like, yeah, wicked. And I'm like walking through work, like I want someone to ask me why have I got that magazine. No one cares. I'm like, you know, he's like David Brent. Oh, what's this? You know. So yeah. Oh, who's that? Oh, look at that. Oh, so yeah, I don't want it to be like that, but you know, it's I'm buzzed. I'm still buzzed. So I'm excited to see, and I get excited to see what's online as well. You know. So
Of course.
yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
And here's the thing, like, I mean, I've heard this album already. It was literally for the last week on my way into work in my early shifts, pretty much my car listening music. It is, to me, it's album of the year levels of class. And
Thank you.
often when I hear something that I think, my God, this is stunning, I can't help but think the band, you guys in this question, you must be so aware that you've crafted something incredibly special here. Was that very much the case?
Do you know what? Like, it's going to sound. We knew it was good, but we're not the most confident people. Darren, who like our main guy at the label, I think he thinks I'm going to pass away soon out of fear, out of worry, because it's just something I've got from my dad. It's panic about everything. Do you know what I mean? Someone could walk past and say good morning, and I'd be like, why'd they fucking say good morning? Do you know what I mean? Like, and like, so shit like that. So, but we knew we had something good. But it's weird. Myself and Angus were in a band before, which did an album that I consider it should have been. Every band that we ever toured with, every musical friend, we had a really nice cult fan base, but it's just the industry side just never took to it. And there's people in bands now that are doing really well who loved and idolized what me and Angus done, got tattoos and everything. And I'm like, you guys are in a massive band. What you do? And I'd been there before, and I was like, I know it's good. I've been here before, and it never happened. But this, I think, already the vibe, like I say, I'm hearing from people. And I know it's not for everyone. I know a lot of it's intense. There's some long songs, but I think it, for a band being our debut album, and we've never had that confidence. Now we're gaining confidence from people going, fucking hell, this is great. And we're like, oh yeah, oh it is sweet. And it makes you feel good. It makes you want to, like, you get to a level by people making you feel good about what you've done. So yeah, like things like what you just said. I mean, yeah, it's great. It's great to hear. And I do think we knew we had some really special stuff, but you know, to what you don't know until you hear it back, and you're like, fucking hell. I always knew Desolate Heart was going to be a special song, and like certain things, like people might hear like the end song with the Spanish guitar intro. You know, you get some albums where that Spanish intro is really loud. So when the heavy stuff comes in, there's no vibe. I wanted it to feel like, I'm massively into Western films. So that's a piece of music I've had for 12 years. And, you know, you can probably hear the inspirations behind it. But when I want people to hear it, and I just want it to set the scene of being in like an old bar. And it's just got Angus in the corner just strumming away. And it feels like it sets the scene. And I hope people get that. And yeah, you know, once we kind of got it back, and then Darren at the label, who, you know, deals with Sleep Token, Rammstein, and all that, was like, this could be the album of next year. And we're like, oh, that's really nice. Cheers. Because we're just not like, yeah, fuck, you know, we're Metallica. Just like, you know, sort of a laugh and a joke. But yeah, when you hear things like that, it does make you feel good. So, you know, let's just see what others think.
It's simply that. It's a couple of weeks later, the dust will have settled, hopefully, and then you get a much clearer idea of what people have thought.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we'll soon see, but everything seems positive at the moment for sure.
Absolutely. The concept then, obviously a character being pulled between light and dark, good and evil, so to speak, in that thing.
Yeah.
Elaborate on why you chose to focus on that idea.
Well, for me, like, it was I find it. I hate just writing 8 songs about 8 different things. Like, fair play to people who can do it. I need to draw on something. I need to make a story out of something, and that's what I've kind of always done when it comes to writing lyrics. And with this, I was like really trying to think, and I had like a little bit of I had a bad spell for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Compared to what people have to deal with like daily, it was, in the grand scheme of things, it was fucking nothing. It was just me not thinking straight, not getting myself sorted, you know. And but I took on for that 2 months. I've never felt like that. And I must admit, when I kind of got all myself sorted and I kind of had to do a few things and whatnot, I felt great. I was like David Blaine levitating down the street. I was like, fucking love this. And but up until that point, I was having a bad time. And it gave me something to draw on. Now it's not necessarily my story, but it gave me a view to kind of go on. And it is just like, getting pulled between two things. And what do you do? Do you find a way out, or do you let it consume you? And there's with the track listing, I've said this, I think, in a press release. It's like the film Memento, so it's not in order. It's kind of like figure it out. But we haven't given away all the lyrics in the booklet. There's like only a paragraph. So maybe one day someone will go, actually, I think this is the order it goes in. Right. It's quite clear what the last one is. So but so it's things like that. But yeah, there's nothing real great. I wouldn't turn around and go, oh yeah, I had this going on and I had that going on, because I didn't. There are people who have really bad fucking problems, and I will never put myself in with them, because they are living a terrible fucking, like, I couldn't even picture. But I just know for 2 months I felt different. So yeah, and that's kind of it. I just drew from that, and I could just needed to put it into a story form, and I've kind of tried to make it like a picture of a world, and and that's kind of what I come up with. There's nothing really too like special or detailed about it, but it's just like a little snippet. I managed to blend it into a story.
I completely understand what you're saying, but you must also be aware that even though like you can say your experience was obviously nowhere as severe as potentially what you're aware of other people go through, and you drew from that to create this concept, that still has weight of some true feelings and reality for many people who often suffer in silence. That's if you've taken that into account, where you're like, okay, there's a chance that some people out there will hopefully get solace from this.
Do you know what I mean? If it does, if it's one person who comes up and goes, cool, that really thing, that would be an amazing. That would make me feel. I wouldn't know how to really respond, to be fair, because like that would I guess that give you a feeling that I've never had before. If someone turned up and when I read these lyrics, and I could really think like I can relate, and I've really got something from it. I wouldn't know. I really know. Like I just wouldn't know what to say. But that would be an amazing. If someone ever said that, that would be an amazing feeling, because if you've made someone feel better or whatnot, I mean, you can't get better than that. I know there might be some things and that people kind of read or maybe take as a different way, because I've done that with lyrics. I mean, I read lyrics like years later and I'm like, oh, what am I fucking thinking? But if it does, that would be an amazing feeling. I'm sure, like, if and when that time does come, that even if, like I say, one person comes up and go, fucking hell, that's an amazing song, thanks for that. Yeah, that would make me feel $1 million totally.
Awesome. This period then, the long build up to release, where you have to drip feed your content, get your singles out, do your press and all that stuff. Is it something you enjoy?
Yeah, no, it's, what, it can be stressful. Currently, like, we don't have a manager, so I sort of deal with a lot of the stuff, and it's just like, and as I said earlier, I worry about everything. And when something doesn't go right, like the release of the new video, there was something like a slight issue, but it's a minor issue. But in my mind, it's like I have to save the world sort of shit, but in reality, it's fucking nothing. But yeah, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy seeing what comes back. I do enjoy seeing, like, doing promos, just reading reviews, doing articles, doing interviews. It's a nice feeling. It's nice that people want to kind of to look and cover your band and take an interest in it. So I like kind of doing all this, and it's an interesting thing. The other guys, I mean, I take on a lot of stuff. The other guys have like families and stuff. So I'm just sat at home with my cat, and I'm like, oh, if I can do it, yeah, great. So it is quite a nice feeling. It's good to be involved and seeing how everything's building, and yeah, it's cool.
How about the expectations, demands of being in a modern band? Do you think you're well versed in that? And I'm talking about the social media side of things and being constant.
Mate, like, we are Twitter, we are shit, right? And I see all these bands, and I'm like, how do you do it? I have no idea. Twitter, it just seems it's just not for us. We're we're slowly getting to grips with like the workings of Instagram. Facebook, you just don't know anymore with Facebook. But every day it's just like Twitter. No one cares about us on Twitter. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to be like, and I can't go like, hi guys, like blah blah blah. Like, just it's cool. It's great. There's obviously more like social platforms you can use, but like, that are kind of key ones.
Yeah.
But it's still trying to figure it all out and trying to. I see bands who are so good at social media, like Brady from Conjurer, amazing. He's like the man at social media. But I'm just shit. Like anything I put out, I'm just like, I can't post it. I don't know what I'm going on about. So, but it's we are definitely trying to get to grips more with being more like present and understanding. I think with the whole social media thing, I sound like an old man here.
Yeah.
I'm clearly a little bit out of touch with the whole thing.
No,
so yeah, things move so fast.
Yeah, because it's all algorithms and trying to keep up with an ever-changing world. But a lot of it as well, when I talk to bands, it's often as well the fact there's an expectation amongst fan bases these days more than ever for you to be real on there, in so to speak, as individuals as well. And that's where the disconnect comes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I much prefer to meet someone face to face than over Twitter. I mean, I've got mates who have all these friends that they made from social media, and I don't even know if they met. And but yeah, no, there's all that thing. But I'm better with. I know there's all this stuff you need to do online and to build this and that. But I think meeting someone, having a chat, to me, that will do more for me than going to someone online. Yeah, you're amazing or something. So yeah, but I get, obviously you have to do everything, and I have become one of those. I'm looking at algorithms, I'm looking at this and that, and the worst thing is looking at view counts. And it's not good because you're like, oh fuck, like does that mean we're shit?
Yeah,
and it doesn't at all. But you let it into your head.
Yeah.
So there's some shit about it, but yeah, I have found that I'm paying more attention. I'm just trying to figure it out because I've kind of taken on a role as the kind of manager. So I'm still trying to work everything out. A word will come up and I'm like, Google, what the fuck? What does this mean? Like a word I've never heard or something. So, it's all a learning process for sure.
I think it's safe to say we're a few months away from Urne being on TikTok and doing dances and things like that, right?
Do you know what? No chance. Fucking, my nieces are on TikTok, and I'm like, I have no idea. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay, that's cool. So you previously mentioned the previous band you were in and the buzz that was around you guys then and so on. Obviously, that's the past, and we're not going to harp up on about it. I just wanted to know what your expectations are, or is there a hope that fans of that band will potentially come along to see basically what Urne have to offer?
I think so myself and Angus have been in 3 bands of each other, and Hang the Bastard, which I think we're probably too metal for Hang the Bastard. And there was a band called Chapters, and we're not as technical as Chapters. But I think there's enough from both sides for maybe fans to come along. But I think if they haven't come along now, I don't think they will start. Maybe I think maybe with the Chapters there might be another thing, because the first Urne EP is very riff, very simple, very dumb, very simple music. But now with the album, I think some of the Chapters fans will come along. It'd be great if they do. There definitely has been a percentage of fans, and certainly with Hang the Bastard fans, there's been some. But if they don't, I understand. Things change and what have you. But it'd be great. Obviously, the more people who like you, the better, and it makes it makes you feel good if people have been following you along. We have a few people who've been following me and Angus's work for the last sort of 10 or so years. So yeah, I think it'd be nice that people do take an interest in your work, for sure, definitely.
I've still got somewhere over there. I've still got some of the stuff, set lists and stuff from your last ever Hang the Bastard show.
Oh, okay, sweet, okay, great. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, because there was the last one, and then they did a reunion with the original lineup for one-off show, some whatever. Like, I don't.
It wasn't that one.
It was Damnation Fest would have been the last one, I think. London. I can't fucking remember. London, yeah, the last one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. I have to ask then, off Serpents and Spirit, I want to know what your personal favorite track is, because I'm going to tell you mine. I'm going to tell you mine.
Go for it.
Memorial.
Go for it, yeah.
It sounds weird to choose the instrumental because obviously there's no vocals, but you just obviously
doesn't have my vocals on. That's an insult.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna hopefully win you over with this, man. Honestly, I haven't heard an instrumental that good since Orion.
Thank you.
That's the comparative I can give. So that's mine. What about you? What's your personal favorite?
Desolate Heart, I think for me it's everything that I love. It's inspired by Nevermore, Death. Then it kind of goes off in its own thing, but that was like one. It kind of like, for me, it stands out. But Memorial's probably the song that I wrote most for. Angus does a lot of our stuff. Or I will hum something and he'll turn it into something. I could hum something completely fucking different. He goes, "Oh, there you go." I'm like, "Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?" But it's a completely different riff. But yeah, no, Memorial, I think, is real standout. Memorial's a bit of a tribute, to be fair, to like Chuck from Death, Cliff, Metallica, Neil from Rush. It's a bit of a tribute to things, as well as it being in line with the story. But there's certain elements of riffs that are purposely there, drum fills that are purposely there as a tilt of the hat to. There's a riff in there that's like I wrote that's very like Death. There's a drum fill that Rich has done. It's very much like Neil Peart, and there's certain things. So I think Memorial's the one that Darren at the record label has gone mental for. And I wanted to write an instrumental. And now when you see on albums, they go, "Oh, it's an instrumental." What it is, it's a 2-minute acoustic interlude at the start of an album. And I'm like, don't call it an instrumental. We haven't called this an instrumental. It's just, it's a song. Then you get Dream Theater kind of instrumentals where it's fantastic, but I wanted to write a metal one. I don't feel there's been a good metal one in years that I know of. I'm sure, people will go, "Oh, you don't know about this song by, I don't know, whatever the band is, the Shitheads. They've done amazing instrumental." Do you know what I mean? I'm like, "Oh, I have no idea." But I really wanted to do something that I feel like there's not many of anymore, a real metal instrumental, and I think we've done really well with it. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, no, I'm glad you like it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right. The other big kind of thing that's happening in the Urne camp beyond the UK tour dates and all that is Bloodstock Festival 2021. You're playing the Sophie stage on the Thursday. Are you fans of the festival? And how much of a big deal is it to kind of play?
Yeah, no, big time fans. We've we played it as a band, Hang the Bastard, and we've been as punters, and I love it. It's cool, and I like that there's not too many thousands of people, because when you get too many thousands of people, I'm like, fucking, no, I can't do it. Too many. I'm just like, have a meltdown. But yeah, it's I'm buzzing. And to be fair, Simon from Bloodstock, he was on this straight away. He was big time onto it. Called me up. I don't think I'd ever really spoke to him, and he called me up on the phone. Heard Desolate Heart, one of the first people to hear it, and he was like, "My fucking God." He was like, "I get to hear everything." He went, "But I've not heard anything like this for years." I'm like, "Oh, fucking yeah, great." He went, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought we'd be playing like the New Blood, or I can't remember." And he was just like, I want you on this certain day though, because that would be the main stage for that day. I was like, I really want people to really focus on this. But yeah, and I'm buzzing. And on that Sunday with like Diamond Head and fucking, I love Saxon, fucking love Saxon. Ripped the lyric off of Saxon for on this album. There's not a lyric, it's just a certain bit. And into Priest. So I'm fucking buzzing. I love it. It's great. So it's the first big festival, like proper festival, we're going to be doing. So yeah. So before we get sick and tired of them, I'm really glad we've got this. So yeah, for sure.
I love as well, because it is the Thursday you said, and the whole point of the Thursday is obviously the extra day of Bloodstock. So Thursday, Sophie stage becomes the main stage effectively. So you're almost guaranteed to have the biggest crowds ever seen on that day.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. Hopefully, unless everyone goes outside to sunbathe and misses us.
Well, finally, then, last thing, the remainder of 2021, is it simply we're waiting to sort of see what we're allowed to do, or do you have big plans in the work for 2021?
a little bit, it's hard at the moment to be, as you know, but there's a couple of really cool things we've been asked to do, and there's something we've got to announce, which is we're fucking happy, happy with. So hopefully that'll be getting announced soon. And there's a few cool bits which have really taken us by surprise. That like, because it's sort of, we're just completely like shocked by everything. Do you know what I mean? Everything. Every time like we sell a shirt, we're like, oh my god, sold a shirt to like Albania. Who would have thought? And so yeah, every little thing like that is kind of like like wow. But yeah, we've got some cool things to announce, and we've also got some cool things to announce for the first half of next year. So yeah, it's all going good. Yeah.
I mean, we can't ask for anything more, and that is a perfect way to end this. Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Cool, man. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for asking me, and I'm really glad you enjoyed the album. So fingers crossed, man. Something comes of it, and hopefully I'll catch you at a London show and we can have a pint.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?